Alright, I think I finally got everything going. Took long enough. For some reason, this specific channel, it does not want me to chat normally. I can normally just hop on Google and just get going. With this specific channel, it wants me to access the app. I have to click on it and go to open app to get it to let me chat. It for some reason just acts different. My Tetris Topic Show channel and Tetra Plays Games channel both don't do this. I can just hop right on Google and go. It is literally just my creation station channel. But either way, I'm on, so thank goodness that all that was done. So welcome to my other channel. I know you're used to seeing me play Roblox. I do a little bit of hobby work with game development. So I'm basically making a platform right now that I can make a lot of different games off of. It's not just one game. I'm wanting to be able to just, if I have an idea for something, I want to be able to just basically do what I want. So it's going to take a little bit of work. I've got gameplay and stuff. Hopefully, this is going to pop up. We'll see if it's actually going to load up on there or not. 'Cause that's another issue I'm going to have to fix is trying to get it to where the game is going to load up in scene for OBS. There it goes. I just had to refresh it. For whatever reason, it didn't want to load up there either. Still got a few bugs to work out, but we'll get there. Godot 4 just got its new update, so I've been kind of experimenting on performance and everything. Trying to make sure everything looks right, feels right, all the performance and everything runs right. And as you can see, there's an error when I go to shoot the gun. Something I've got to change from the old update to now, but we won't be doing that right now. What I'm going to be what I'm going to be working on right now is trying to just do some extra art stuff. I got a bunch of different types of trees. Uh, the game itself, like, this is just a foundation to make games off of. Like, I don't actually have, like, a game in store yet. I got ideas, but I'm wanting to do a foundation that I can quickly put together games and not spend all the time having to do a bunch of work over and over and over because there's a lot of stuff that goes into game development that is repetitive. I mean, it's like probably 50% of the work it takes to make a game is repetitive work each time. So I'm trying to get rid of it by having a set of tools that I programmed myself and a workflow. That way, when I want to do something, I can create assets and basically program some additions to gameplay and it'll just work. Like, I've already got first person gameplay, third person gameplay, a prototype vehicle, and all that stuff that just basically needs polished and just a lot of testing. But right now, all my trees are using the same types of leaves, including the bushes. They're all using the exact same type of leaves off of each other. So, what I'm wanting to do is basically get another leaf to put in the game to put on like either a bush or a tree or something, and I'm gonna be doing this through Gimp if it'll let me pop that up. And it is not gonna let me pop that up. Yet another issue that I'm gonna have to work on, maybe. I'm gonna try adjusting it through OBS. I don't know why there's these weird issues going on, but now why does that not pop up in the other window? Now it does. There we go. It's more of a hobby, but if I ever did, I mean, at this rate, I could probably make a Roblox game, but I just do it as a hobby. It's not really something that like I'm trying to do, to make money. But if it came to it, then if it's convenient, I'll make a game and sell it. But for right now, that's not going to be the case. I'm basically just. I've enjoyed doing this stuff my whole life. And it was pretty obvious when I was younger. There was a game for Super Nintendo, and it was called Mario Paint. And I had a lot of fun on Mario Paint. It had like a music editor, you could draw stuff on it. And that was kind of I wouldn't say first clue, but definitely a foreshadowing that I was gonna like doing that type of stuff. Made a lot of characters and wrestling games, and of course, I was a skateboarder as well when I was younger, so making characters in Tony Hawk was also something. Yeah, I was very fortunate. There's a lot of people who they have things that they like to do, but they're not necessarily talented at it. Like there's people that like music that wish they could do music, but they don't naturally have the talent to sing and do all the stuff they want to do. I was very fortunate to be born with the talents that go along with what I want to do. Not everybody gets that. But I enjoy it. I've messed around with like RPG Maker. I got out of Unity before they screwed a bunch of their developers over. But it is what it is. I just have fun doing it. Hopefully, this channel will grow and I'll be able to basically inspire people. Like, for instance, we play Roblox. So just imagine, like, in the future, if this channel got big enough and I could basically give ideas to people, inspire them in a way to make new types of Roblox games. Like, that would be pretty awesome. Like, that would be good enough for me, is to basically just have the developers, recognize some ideas of mine or whatever and be like, hey, that would be really cool. Because I've got a lot of weird ideas and stuff. It's just a matter of trying to get them all out of my mind, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, it's more of an artistic expression. You're taking stuff that's in your head, and normally you're like putting it on paper or something along them lines. In my case, it's more of a 3D and programming way of showing what's in my head. Not normal at all, but there's a lot of talented people in this space. I've got a few people I watch that do stuff like this. Hopefully, in the future, I'll have enough people on board that, like I said, people will play like Roblox and stuff and see this channel and maybe make us some cool Roblox games or something. I mean, it's possible. It could happen. It would just be really cool to see it. The game industry right now is just really bad. So there's a price barrier for making Roblox games. I figured it was like one of them pricing models because what they do for a lot of other stuff now, like if you go to make a game in like Unreal, it's 100% free, but there's like you're gonna pay a an amount of money depending on like how much you're selling. So like you don't owe anything until probably after like 1 million copies have been sold. And then they'll come knocking at your door and want, you know, so and so amount of money. Well, the leaves for this already move when it's act like when I'm playing it. The leaves and stuff actually move in the tree. At some point, I'll be on here with my character, and you'll see some animations. If you look at my Roblox video, I have a few of them, Sailor Peace videos to be specific. But the Sailor Peace intro was made using this stuff. I made generic Roblox characters, and that's how I did that scene. That scene I showed you with all the trees and the rocks and everything, that's the scene from that intro that I did. But yeah, that's how I did that scene. It was all done in Godot, and Godot's 100% free. You could literally right now go on and download Godot and download Blender and just learn how to do stuff by looking up YouTube videos. You could literally just, do it for free. It doesn't cost anything. Blender for making your objects and stuff's 100% free, and Godot that you just seen me inside of that I had made the scene in is all free. Yeah, I'm just making leaves tonight and stuff, trying to get more of my environment filled out. Uh, the video I was gonna do earlier, I had some problems with some of my menus, and I had went in and re-scripted some of them so my controller and keyboard would work with them properly. Just like you seen when I went to shoot my gun, it aired. The new Godot update came out, so there's some stuff that has got to be reworked. So that was one of the things I took care of earlier. And then, of course, at some point, I'll have to go through and fix that gun and figure out why the raycast is broken on it. That day that we were playing Build Your Base, the part of my script that's broke is the same part that when you see that white line come out of your turret and your guns and Build Your Base, that's technically what's messed up right now. For whatever reason, the math for when it's aiming at the screen, this update changed it somehow. So it's a little off. Mm, gonna redo that. I didn't get far enough in. We're also gonna try something a little bigger, maybe. Might be too far there. Try it like this. This will probably yield better results. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. But yeah, this is one of my other channels. I have one other channel, and that's the Tetris Topic Show. And on there, I've not really found a topic that has taken off yet. But I talk a lot about aliens and AI and mental health and stuff like that. I actually just got rid of a bunch of videos off of it to try to reset the algorithm. It really just depends. Uh, there are some people when they're making stuff in Blender that, I mean, they're really, really good at it. And if they know what they're doing, you can make stuff really quick. It doesn't really have to take a long time, but you gotta know what you're doing. That's like the big thing. If you go into it and you don't know what you're doing, you end up having to backtrack, and that just, it costs a lot of time. For instance, if you're making a car, you got to know when you're making the tire that you got to put your center of origin for the volume of the tire in the middle from the start, because if you don't and you place a bone in there to make the tire rotate, it won't rotate from the center of the rim. It'll try rotating from like the outside of a tire, and then it looks like a hula hoop or something when it spins around. It's funky. But if you know what you're doing, then you can actually make stuff pretty quick. Yeah, a lot of my AI videos are either suggestions on how to use AI, or it's a warning because there's a lot of people that don't necessarily understand what AI is in real life. Yeah, and if somebody was making a car and they knew how to actually go about it, there's a lot of shortcuts and stuff. So it just all depends on what you know. It's a pretty safe bet that you're not ever going to know everything. But at least if you try to know as much as you can save yourself a lot of work. A lot of very just unnecessary work. For my character, I'm making a character that, and you'll see it in one of my videos if you look for it. I've probably got 100 hours in that character making it, but it's mostly because it's a very unique type of design. The character itself is made in such a way that it's going to be like a GTA 6 character where you can literally use it for anything. Most characters you can't just use for anything. They've got like some type of purpose that they're kind of made for. This character is able to be dressed and just all different types of stuff, and it doesn't have a lot of the stuff going on that a normal character model would have. So it took 100 hours. Most of the time when you play games, especially where they have a lot of animations, they have more than one animation set and more than one character. Like in a cutscene, that cutscene character and its animations will be built separately from what you're playing as in the game. And this character I'm working on doesn't need to be like that. It's able to be used in or outside of a cutscene, and I can basically just make it do what I want. It's an all-in-one character. Once it's made, I don't have to make any other characters because I can just dress it up and make it how I want. It's extremely flexible. I did have a lot of fun playing games with you guys tonight. I do appreciate you guys hanging out and helping me out a little bit and everything. It does mean a lot to me. It I didn't really know when I joined YouTube how it was going to go. I kind of suspected a lot of negativity, but it's been pretty honest and like everybody's been cool. It's not really been like what I thought it might be. I'm not saying that there might not everybody's going to be cool. There's definitely going to be haters, but I just kind of figured there'd be a lot more haters than what there have been. And like the Roblox community in particular has been pretty good to me. So now that I got another leaf made, I'm actually going to be able to start just copying this and putting it in the places of the other leaves. Because as far as it goes, like when it's up in the tree, you're not going to really notice the pattern because the leaves are just going to be all over the place by the hundreds. So it's more about just trying to get, a good design that's not tileable. You don't want people to look at it and be able to notice that, the way the leaves are laid out on the tree looks exactly the same on every tree. Think a faster way to go about this. Merge these. And then I'm going to move this out here. We are going to create a layer and see if this will work. Oh, I don't have it selected right. I used to use Adobe Photoshop. I started using Gimp like maybe a couple years ago. So still some stuff I'm not exactly used to. Photoshop's honestly better than GIMP, but I don't like the corporate stuff that was going on. Same reason I got out of using Unity. I'm a very little man type of person that when it comes to the small guy, I'm not like big on letting the corporate people just do whatever they want. And a lot of artists were making stuff in Photoshop. Like the people who do Adobe just said they owned all their work. Like if you made stuff in our program, we just own it. And I said, screw that. Like, you guys aren't gonna do that to me. Anybody else who wants to stick around and kind of put up with that, they can, but I'm not going to. Like, I'm gonna own my work. I may never make huge amounts of money off of it, but I'm gonna own my work. There we go. That makes it a little easier. Put that one there. And then we will put this one over here. Once again, I don't have it highlighted. We will put that there. And then come down here. And we will just delete it from underneath. Yeah, anything I make on here, I mean, I'll post it up for people to see. I mean, I can't really think of too many reasons why I wouldn't show something. I mean, maybe if it was offensive in some way, like there was something that I'd put in the game that was politically offensive in some way, I might not show it on YouTube. But other than that, I don't see why I wouldn't show it. I mean, and I really try to stay away from the political stuff as much as possible. Especially when it just comes to being on YouTube live and any of the content I make, I'd just rather stay away from the whole politics thing. Everybody's got their own views on politics, and it's just not something that, if I was making a game and I had some politics in there, I just wouldn't post it up online in that one case. But pretty much every anything else, I'd post it up. I'm not too big on censorship, so unless I really don't want to get involved in something, I'm probably gonna post it up. I re- I didn't grow up with censorship. My mom and dad pretty much just told me that I gotta bail myself out of trouble if I get in it. So I just kind of did what I wanted. And luckily, that didn't end up being really bad. But it does make it rough because I being in school was horrible. Like I couldn't be the way I wanted to be in school because they believe in censorship really bad. My talents, my school actually wanted to use me to basically get money because like if they have talented students and they can like find some way to use you and get you like into a college, they can get recognition and get money off of it and everything. And I pretty much told them that that wasn't for me. I'm just not like a huge school person. Never really was. Which is why I chose game development, learning it off YouTube instead of like going to a college. Like I don't have any problem with people who go to college for that type of stuff. Like yeah, if you want to do something, you probably should, learn from certain people, but school was just always definitely a really bad place for me to be, so I just chose to learn it on YouTube. That's just me personally. Well, we got a large chunk of the leaves on here. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like when I put it on a tree. See how it turns out. That's the real test when it gets to that point. Tomorrow I'll probably try to be on Roblox at the same time. So if you're on when you were today, then you'll probably catch me on tomorrow. I'll probably play a lot of Blocks Fruit tomorrow and try to level up and see if that's gonna be a game I'm gonna want to play a lot of. I'm not 100% sure about it yet. SWAT was definitely a lot better using the keyboard and mouse. I didn't have all the problems. So something tells me that using a keyboard for blocks fruit and getting used to the controls, that'll make the game a lot better. So I'm going to see if I like it or if it's just not for me. It could end up being like RuneScape and it's just something that I'm not really into. But who knows? I don't know enough about it yet to really judge it. I just know a lot of people seem to like it, and a lot of people that like Sailor Peace were playing Blocks Fruit. I'm actually pretty big into grinding, and I've always been that way. I've always been one of them people to grind and grind and grind. It actually was pretty crazy because I heard another YouTuber mention that they didn't like doing seasonal content because they reset your levels and make you redo stuff over and over again. And back in like probably 2014, Diablo 3 introduced seasons. And because I liked grinding so much, I didn't like the seasons because I was re-grinding the same thing over and over. I would rather just keep grinding higher and higher instead of just re-grinding the exact same stuff. But if Blox Fruit doesn't do anything like that and you're just like continually going up, and that's the way it sounded. 212 was talking about that he was like level 2000 and something on there, so that sounds good to me. If you're allowed to grind that much and get that high of a level, that sounds pretty good. Uh oh, didn't get that right. And again, I didn't have it selected. Yep, down to the last four leaves. Yeah, I really like grinding. I played a game growing up. It was originally a Dreamcast game. It's called Fantasy Star. And in order to get up to like level 150, I basically put 1,000 hours on that game. It was really close. Some of the item drops in that game were pretty crazy. It had local multiplayer. I had it for the GameCube. They didn't make it for PS2, oddly. You would have thought they'd have made it for the best console back then, but they didn't. But yeah, that game was insane. Like there was weapons that you'd be grinding just forever to try to get. But yeah, I definitely got some hours in that game. And that's one character too. That game had birth signs, and depending on your birth sign, depended on what the monsters would drop. They didn't drop the same thing for everybody. So you had to invest in other characters just to get rare drops because you might not be guaranteed with your character to get your best items. Pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, I loved grinding in that game. I had somebody that I actually a couple people I grinded with in that game. They'd come over to my house and we'd spend like 8 hours and only get like maybe one level and maybe an armor piece or something we needed out of it. Crazy amounts of time. I'm still going to be playing Sailor Peace. Like, I know it's not really popular anymore, but I'm still going to be playing it too. I actually played it for a little bit this week. I played Sailor Peace for maybe a couple hours, trying to get to C2. The latest update for Sailor Peace didn't raise up the levels any. I'm still actually max level. It's like 20,000 I think to be max level. Which the levels in that game are really quick. They don't take very long, so it's not that impressive, but I enjoyed it after I got used to it. There we go. Now I can get these last two leaves hooked on. Oh, didn't have it selected right. Now I can do it. Nope, still didn't have it selected right. Must not have been on the right layer. There we go. Hello, Robot Blocks is fun. Thanks for joining in. I see I got a couple people in here. I'm assuming, well, only two, I guess, would be you guys, because I'm technically in here too, so it'd be counting me. But yeah, good to see you. Just working on some stuff for a project I'm working on. Get that there. Thanks, I appreciate the compliment. Hopefully this will be alright once I get it in the game. It won't take very long. I'll be able to get it imported and on a tree really quick once I get this last leaf on there. Gotta highlight that leaf. There we go. Now it should spin. Rotate it a little bit more because I don't want them touching each other. There we go. Now all I gotta do is get rid of my extra leaf over here that I had. Not gonna need you no more. And then I will just add a 2 to this and save that. And then I am gonna switch us back to Godot. I'm gonna need my textures. So we'll go to environment and tree, leaves. Now all I gotta do is import it really quick. Then I'll be able to put it on a tree. is, so all I gotta do is just copy it over real quick. That should be the folder. There we go, now it's in game. Yep, better change all this stuff so it's actually gonna do what it needs to do when I get it in there. Yep, that's what it is over there, so... And we want tree. My keyboard is not wanting to cooperate. Leaf 2. And all I gotta do is just drag this over. Then I gotta turn the transparency on because without that, you're not gonna be able to see it right. It'll look like a sheet of paper. It'll have black around it, so you gotta turn alpha on. And unfortunately, normal alpha is not performance friendly, so I have to use a certain type. So they got normal alpha. They got a few different options, but that's the performance friendly one. So now that we got this, all I got to do is go to one of these trees. I just got to figure out what one I want to put it on. We may just do this one. I'll open it up and we'll just stick it on there and see what it looks like real quick. Just drag it and put it over here. And there's the example of the leaves I made on the tree. Now we can actually go in and I can apply like a metallic to them so they're not so bright and adjust how the sun hits them. Make them like reflective if I wanted to. Definitely not going to make them reflective. So yeah, the example of the leaf I just made actually on the tree. Now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to apply it properly. That way it fills up all the leaf spots on the tree and not just one. And I just selected the wrong one. I have 3 different spots for leaves over here that I can put them on. Because basically what I'm wanting to do is like if I have an autumn tree and I want to do something like that, then I can basically Just kind of do whatever I need to do. It's not like a big deal or anything. Yeah, cooling's off of all these, so that should display better on the tree. So you officially just watched me make a texture for leaves on a tree and put them on. Takes a little bit of time, but with a little bit of patience, you can pretty much do whatever you put your mind to. I'll hop actually in game for a second. We're going to see if this actually pops up again or if I have to readjust it in OBS. Probably will. It might not show up when I click on it. Looks like I got a little bit of a delay, so we'll find out here in a second. Yep, I'm going to have to adjust it again. Not sure why it does it, but at least it's easy enough to fix. So that would be the tree there that I added the leaves on. They're a bit too far away to really see, but this over here is the character that I've been working on. Looks like I got somebody new in the chat. Thank you for joining in. I'm just doing some random stuff with my project I'm working on today, and just happy to have people to chat with in the chat and just kind of watch me as I go. If you guys are interested in making games, I mean, literally Godot and Blender are free. There's tons of tutorials. I just got done making a new leaf type and putting it in the tree. As you can see, the trees actually move. So I don't have to like do an individual thing because it's gonna move around slowly on its own. Something really cool that I enjoyed making that games do is they do shaders, which cause a lot of games to stutter. But like I added this moss onto this rock using a shader, and it saved so much time because it randomly distributes these pieces of moss across the rock and filled up this side and just made it look natural instead of me actually having to do the art. All I did was just make the moss and the actual rock texture, and the shader just puts it on. And if I pick up the rock and I rotate the rock, the moss actually rotates with the rock, which is really cool. Saves a bunch of time. I may actually be able to demonstrate this. I'll try to get the camera over here and pick this rock up and show you guys what I'm talking about. This is really cool. Like the rock is actually changing in real time because the shader is adjusting every time I turn the rock. It adjusts how it is. But as you can see, the moss is appearing and disappearing as I rotate it. That right there is the stuff that if you know how to do it, makes game creation go so much quicker. I mean, you save so much time when you actually know how to do certain things, and you just take the time to get it out of the way. Looks like my chat went off my phone. Not sure why, but YouTube's trying to give me a break, apparently. I'm gonna have to change it next time it pops up, because it was doing that when we were playing Roblox. For some odd reason, it was doing it. Alright, I had to just make sure what my phone was doing for a second. It was being weird. Yeah, I love game development as a hobby. I lose track of time sometimes. I'll make plans and I'll be in the middle of game development. I just space time. Yeah, a lot of really neat details. I like putting a lot of details into the environment. So, like, I went through and made a bunch of small mushrooms. I still got other designs I'm wanting to do for, like, bigger mushrooms, but yeah, just a lot of detail. You can see all the clovers and stuff in between the grass. The flowers are actually standing up. They're not just like flat. And I got like a couple different flowers that I did, so those are pretty fun to make as well. Yeah, for me, game development's my life. It's just like one of them things that as soon as I got my hands on the tools and stuff, I was ready to do it without a doubt. I've also been working on particle effects. I got some lightning and stuff that's just generic lightning that I've been working on. Just kind of all over the place trying to get stuff. My smoke effect for fire, and then my generic fire that still needs a bit of work, but I'm trying to get around a performance issue with it because it takes up a lot more performance than what it should, especially for something that's not even like that detailed. And like I got vines every year. Most games like the vines are pretty flat or were anyways. Nowadays are starting to be more 3D. Gonna have a lot of vines and stuff hanging off the ledges. Go up here and get all these nodes closed up. Well, it looks like most of my problems with this live stream for this channel are easily fixable. Thank goodness. Let's see what it was actually running in game. 217 frames. Using up a little bit of VRAM. Only thing I want to try to get down is processing. Just a little high, but it's higher than I remember it being. It's probably something that one of the updates did. Well, it looks like it's getting to be that time of night again, or morning, I should say, so it was good talking to you. I'm gonna hop off here. Thanks everybody who did show up. So I'm gonna hop off and basically get some sleep. But I plan on doing more live streams on here. I'm gonna be doing live streams on all my channels. So if you guys are interested, stop by, take a look at what I'm doing, and feel free to chat. But till then, I'm gonna hop off here for tonight.